everybody, I got the one tool that's gonna make your wood shop make money, and that's what we're all about, right? Hey everybody, Scott Kincaid here from Kincaid Woodworking, and hey, we're gonna get a big thing going around this shop. I'm gonna start walking you through my tools and showing what can help you make that $100 bills that you're all looking for, right? Well, there's one tool that I have that was my first big purchase that was a money maker, and that is my Laguna Swift 4x4 CNC. I know what you're wondering, what does CNC mean? It's a computer numerical code router. In other words, it takes a router, you make a computer design, and it does exactly what you tell it to do, down to the thousandths or more of an inch. This thing is precise, it's complete, and I'm telling you right now, it's a money maker. Check it out. This is what you want to look for when you look for a CNC. First off, I'm a fan of Laguna tools. They make great stuff. They do not sponsor this video. Hint, hint, Laguna, if you want to hook it up. But they don't sponsor me, but I'll tell you what, I've been a customer of them for 6 years now, and they've done nothing but right by me. I will tell you, one thing I like about the Laguna, they got a great base. Look at the solid, sturdy I-beam base on that bad boy. It isn't gonna move. When you're buying a CNC, there's all kinds of tools out there. There's shop bots, there's bobs, they're made of wood. I don't know how that works. And there's all kinds of machines, especially ones made all over the country, made in China, just like the Laguna. Not usually thrilled with that, but they have a great product. You wanna make sure you get a good base, because all this thing is a router moving on a gantry and wiggling back and forth. The more solid the base, the more precise your work can be. That's why I like this machine. Another thing about the Laguna, if you look up, it's got a giant gantry that goes all the way across. Even their Laguna IQ, which is their smallest hobbyist machine, that machine, it's still a pretty big gantry compared to the competition. And one thing else I like about that is if you look right up here, you'll notice everything is based on gear drive. A lot of machines, like lasers, they'll have it a belt-driven motion that goes back and forth, and that can snap and break and weak, and it doesn't handle the torque that a real CNC router really needs to be. These gear-driven pieces are nice. What else do I like about this machine? It is a spindle router. It's a 3 horsepower spindle router, vice just a regular router. It's water cooled, it can run for hours and hours and hours on end, and I highly recommend, if you're gonna spend the money on a CNC, make sure it has a spindle router. Let me give you a good example right here. Here's an example and why I say a spindle router versus a regular router. A lot of the smaller budget CNCs, you take a laminate router like this and you strap it to a gantry and you turn the router on and it'll do whatever you want. The same general idea, 2D cutting and 3D cutting that this CNC does. But here's the difference. Let me turn on that spindle versus this router right here. Go ahead and turn it on. That's the amount of noise. Now, if you're in your shop, and that shop's your garage, which a lot of you people are, how quickly is your wife gonna wanna strangle you if you have here that? Not too bad. Now, let me go ahead and turn that off and turn on the router. Ah! I'm telling you, my wife will strangle me. So to avoid that noise and avoid that annoyance, I recommend a spindle router. Another thing is, those routers, those laminate routers, are meant to, and built, the motors, bearings, and the motors in them are meant for small time use operations. So you're meant to do a quick routing of an edge on a table or whatnot that lasts a little bit of time, lasts a few minutes. They're not meant for continuous operation. The spindle is meant for continuous operation, and that's why when you buy a CNC router, whatever it is, make sure it's got a spindle. A water-cooled spindle is best because it can run forever. And some of these 3D carvings, by the way, take 25, 26 hours. Okay, next thing. One thing I like about this machine, and I recommend when you look for CNCs, oil. It's oil, got an oil plunger here, and every day I come in here, I go ahead and send oil to all these little green dots and red dots up there. Those are all oil spigots, and oil comes out of there and keeps it all nice and lubed for me. It's ease of maintenance. Any machine you have in your shop, all we do is make sawdust in here. So the better you have, the better you can maintain it, and the easier it is to maintain, the better off you're gonna be in the long run, the less chance you're gonna waste your money. Another thing this machine does, which I really like, when you're putting your tool in here, every single time you start it, you start these machines, You have to touch and tell the machine where the top of that piece of wood is. One thing I like about this machine is it's got an automated height puck here that allows you to use the machine to figure out exactly where the top of that piece of wood is. And we'll show you how to do that later. But for right now, know that that's the kind of machine you want to do. You don't want to manually set that, because every time you manually set that, that's, you know, your eye can be off a couple thousandths each time, and that can add up over time and cause you to have to do a lot more sanding in the future. So what we're trying to do is minimize the amount of sanding, best quality product right off the machine we can. That way, you're spending less time on sanding and more time making money and selling that product. Okay, so what else are we looking for when we buy this machine? We kind of talked about the physical structure of it. I recommend it be as heavy and beefy as possible. This machine weighs about 15 pounds. Another thing, or 15 pounds, 1,500 pounds, and it's hard to move. That's why I built this really big, sturdy base for it. If I need to push it around, I can. Another thing I like about machines, these machines that I recommend you look for is, I bought this when I had a 1.5 car garage, not this big expansive shop. It was a small shop, and this was the largest machine that I could put in it. 4x4, biggest I could get. If I had to buy another machine today, it would be a full 8-foot or a 10-foot machine. The reason I say that is because whatever you think you're making today, when you get this machine, you're gonna realize people want to use your services. And they're gonna pay you to make all kinds of cool stuff, and they're gonna keep on asking, can I make it bigger? Can I make it bigger? Can I make it bigger? And eventually, if you get a small hobbyist machine, you're gonna say, I can't do it. And so no, get yourself as big as you can afford and make the nicest, biggest things possible. Plus, the larger it is, the more money you can charge, right? And that's what we're all about, boom. When it comes to machine beds, I like to use just general MDF bed. They're easy to replace. A full sheet of MDF, 3/4 MDF is 33 bucks. Cut it in half. I got a $15 tabletop. I take and use my micro jig dovetails, and I cut a grid in here so I can use for tie downs. I also screw a bunch of stuff in here. It's just real easy. It's real easy to replace. About once every few months, I ruin it completely, and it's about there now, and I'll just pop a new one in there for $15. And it's cost of doing business, and it's a pretty cheap cost of doing business. Other than that, we got our big CNC router, some of the smaller hobbyist ones like the Laguna IQ or the Axiom, whatever their version of that is. They have these controls right here, and they can fit under a table. The Laguna's Swift and Smart Shop series are a lot bigger. They allow you can get them with a suction area, the vacuum suction. If you can afford that, I recommend buying it. At the time, I was pretty new to this and I couldn't afford it. That being said, if I had to buy another machine, I'd buy it with a vacuum suction. I also have an emergency stop on here. We have our water pump, and it's running from the back, and we have our power button and whatnot. Now, I will tell you this. One of the things, like I mentioned earlier, is this machine is made in China. But all these machines, there are some made in the USA, but many of these machines are made in China. The secret you want to look for is, am I buying the machine with the right amount of support in America? That's one reason I like this company. I can call down to Orange County. Well, they just moved to Texas. I can call to Texas, talk to someone who speaks really good English, and they'll help me solve all my problems. That's why I like it. If you are really hurting on money and you can't afford it, but you want to upgrade, there's other options. Axiom's a great machine I hear. It's very similar to this one. And if you go to the woodworking shows or anything around your area, you'll find there's a lot of Chinese machines that'll do a pretty good job, and they'll work for you. One thing I do like about this company that a lot of Chinese machines do is they offer these Rich Auto handheld controllers. So the cool thing about the handheld controller is I don't have to have my laptop or my computer right next to the machine like a lot of machines require. I can put all my tool pathing that I make with my tool path, my tool pathing, that's a real word, right? Tool pathing? I can make with that program. I can put it on my thumb drive here and just bring it over here, plug it in, and I can have all the options. Now, unfortunately, about once every 2 to 3 years, these things go out. And when they do go out, you're gonna call your company. They're gonna tell you it's $550 to $600 to replace it. Ouch! I don't know why they go out, but it seems I've had mine for 6 years, and about every 3 years, I have to go buy a new one. Not a problem. Don't go to your company and buy a new one. Go to whatever Chinese supplier you can on Alibaba.com or one of those websites and get a hold of one of those manufacturers. They'll say, or Rich Auto directly. Go to Rich Auto directly. They'll send you one for about $300. It's English and Chinese. I don't speak Mandarin. Hey, I'll do my best. But but I'll tell you right now, right out of the box, you can set it up for English really easy, no problem. So I recommend, if you're gonna do that, use a Rich Auto controller, go to the manufacturer directly, don't go through your supplier. Other than that, the things I don't like about Laguna is, and I'm sure a lot of these other Chinese machines, is when they get shipped to your house, there's gonna be one thing wrong. Now, it's up to you to figure out what that one thing is. For instance, when I bought this machine, I had some wiring in the spindle that had to get resoldered. It wasn't that good. Everything in the controller here was perfectly fine. There was no issues, but that soldering was a problem, and there's some oil lines that were a problem too. Not a big problem, a pretty easy fix, but it was an issue and I had to work through it. And so just expect that. But I got the machine for about $14,000, right? Whereas a real high-end American-made machine is in the $30,000 to $50,000 to $60,000 and up range, right? You can spend $250,000 on one if you wanted to. But that's not what we're here for, right? Most of you guys watching this video are a hobbyist or a small-time wood shop who wants just to upgrade. I like these machines. Also, as a matter of fact, I'll put a link down below to this specific machine on the website, and you can go talk to them. If you need, have any questions about it, please feel free to comment below. Also, I would like to hear, if you already have a CNC, what kind of CNC are you running? Also, what kind of design programs do you run? Hit me in the comments below. I'd love to hear. Now let's go to a couple shots of seeing this thing work and seeing it do some 3D carving and some 2D carving.
Oh, what?
Of you and me doing this work. Okay. So you came and helped me. I want you to look at that camera there and say, let's make some 3D carvings.
What?
Say, let's make some 3D carvings.
Okay. Let's make some 3D carvings.
There you go. I guess we're going to make some 3D carvings. Kaylee said so. It must be a fact. All right, buddy. Rookie YouTube mistake. However, you can see right now, let the battery go dead. You can see right now the kind of quality we have. Let me take this camera off here. Let's do a little experiment here. What if we take this 3D carving we have real quick, put a little fire on it and see what happens. Oh man! Talk about added value. Check out how awesome that is. How quick that just looks like a moneymaker. Then we'll clean those edges up. Wrong sandpaper. But look how quick that is. Look how much that can add value to your piece of artwork. Now listen, I refuse to believe that you can't take that piece and make money with it. Take any basic simple project, you just added $30 to $50 on the price of everything you make. Every single time someone orders something. Plus all the cool shapes you can make, saving you time, saving you money. I'm telling you, CNC is the way to go. If you want to make your wood shop make money. Now get on it, enjoy it. Post in the comments below what kind of things you'd like to see me make with the CNC, what other kind of stuff you want to see. Hey, we'll make it happen. I need your involvement though. Show me what's up. Do me a favor though, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help me build this channel. Adios.